So, the live action FNAF movie, it was just a big old man burger, in my opinion. So, here we got the first ever live action adaptation from the video game franchise, Five Nights at Freddy. Now, I will say, Scott Cawthon did want to bring this project to life pertaining to the FNAF movie because, for what I've heard, this movie took 8 years to make because he had to find the studios, he had to find the right cast, and I would say he did try to bring this movie to life. But problem is, it was not executed that well because this movie was more about it was more comedy in this movie than it was about horror because there wasn't really anything big horror wise that happened in this movie. Prime example, like when there was these certain individuals that broke into the Freddy Fazbear's Play Palace, there was more jump scares and less blood and gore than what you would expect, especially in the FNAF games, where in the first FNAF games, if you got jump scared, then you actually see your eyeballs in a certain animatronic in the first game after you lose. You didn't really see nothing like that in this movie. This movie, yeah, in the franchise is more about horror, but this kind of didn't execute it that well. So the story pertaining to FNAF, the FNAF movie. Here you have Mike Smith going from job to job, and then fighting his bitch for aunts to keep custody of his little sister Abby. Then there's some back and forth about him going back to that one dream where his little brother got kidnapped by, for what I'm guessing, William Afton. So, in order to keep custody of his little sister, he had to find a job. He had to keep a steady job for it, because if he didn't, then the aunts, who both Mike and Abby, brother sister, they both hated because she was more about getting a government check than actually taking care of Abby. So Mike Smith got recommended this job at Freddy Fazbear's, where he would be working nighttime only. And my thing, and this, it didn't really do what the games did. Like, he ain't had to do any of that checking the cameras. He ain't had to close no doors. He ain't had to do any of that. But the first security guard, when he got to the job, he immediately got murked. Okay, the first security guard before Mike, he immediately got murked. He got put in a Freddy Fazbear's mask, but it didn't really go anywhere. Like, he didn't become an animatronic. He didn't become any of that. Like, it was just there. I mean, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that's just there, and it doesn't really do a lot for this movie. Mike is obsessed with finding the person who kidnapped his brother at a very young age. Well, I'm guessing he was 12, and he, with that being in his mind all the time, he's not being weary, or he's not being more focused on taking care of his little sister. So he had some certain problems by his little brother being kidnapped, but by what I automatically assumed, William Afton. But he's not too focused on his little sister, and that was basically the main plot in this movie. Mike Smith was being more about his little brother that got kidnapped than his little sister that's there right now. So you got the animatronics wanted Abby to put her in an animatronic suit, and this whole time it was sequence to sequence where they was all having fun with the animatronics. Then Vanessa from FNAF Help Wanted, she was there. Yeah, so she's in this movie somehow, and she's the daughter of William Afton for some reason. I don't think that was in the game. I might be wrong here. Like, I've never really been paying attention to the lore like that, but pertaining to Vanessa, she's there, and she knows all about the bad things that happen in the Freddy Fazbear's Palace. Problem is, she didn't tell Mike Smith, and then when Abby pretty much got kidnapped or nearly got put in an animatronic suit, it was nearly too late until Mike came in and saved her. It was like, and then we have a scene where some people who was paid by the aunt to sabotage Mike's job, they all got. It was all jump scares. It was nothing like really big happened in this scene where, you know, they all got attacked by the animatronics. Like there was no, like here's my opinion, right? Here's my opinion. If you're gonna make a scary movie or a horror movie, it should be rated R. A horror movie that's PG-13 kind of takes away the visuals, in my opinion. Like there could have been more blood and gore in this movie. Even in the first scene where the first security guard got put in the Freddy's mask. That scene should not have been censored. This movie should have been rated R from the start, where there would be probably more people jumping out their seat, because when this movie, people was not really jumping out their seat. It was just, okay, so you showed us this scene in this horror movie with all these dead kids, but you don't want to show any blood and gore. And that's what kind of disappointed me at the most. Like, they didn't really show any blood and gore in this movie, in this horror movie. Like I said, this is my opinion. All horror movies should be rated R, so there would be more better visuals, and not you won't have to censor anything. But I will say, right? I like how Scott Cawthon brought in certain YouTube creators for this movie. Like, he brought, like, for what I've noticed, like the people I watched, he brought in Matt Pat from The Game Theorists, and he brought in Corey Kitchen, which I find pretty sweet. These two individuals who have made FNAF more popular with their playthroughs, and even Matt Pat with his theories about the FNAF lore. Like, I was honestly expecting even Markiplier to show up, but Markiplier I didn't see him in the movie, or if he did show up, I didn't notice. But yeah, I found it pretty cool, pretty dope that Scott Cawthon brought in Matt Pat and Corey Kitchen for this movie. Two individuals that love the FNAF series. I thought that was pretty cool, and that was pretty sweet. But like I said, this movie, guys, it was just a big old man burger. I mean, if you guys want to watch it right now, it's streaming on Peacock as we speak right now. But let me know what y'all think about the movie if you guys did watch it. If you guys like the video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, hit the notification bell. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.